For Elara, sleep was not just rest, it was a rendezvous. Every night, without fail, the world would fall away at precisely 3:07 a.m. It wasn't a jarring awakening, but a gentle pull into a place she knew as well as her own reflection. A place that was home to a familiar stranger, a constant in the shifting landscape of her subconscious. His face was the first and last thing she saw in that other world. The dream was always the same, yet ever new. They met in a garden where the flowers didn't bloom with petals, but with soft, pulsating starlight. The air hummed with a quiet melody, and the ground was soft as clouds. In this place, words were unnecessary. A shared glance, a simple gesture, communicated entire conversations. It was a world built on silent understanding and a profound sense of peace. She didn't know his name, but she knew the kindness in his eyes and the way his smile seemed to brighten the starlit flora around them. He had dark, gentle hair and a calm presence that anchored her in the dream. Together, they would walk the celestial paths, tend to the star blossoms, or simply sit on a bench carved from a fallen moonbeam, watching nebulas drift by like clouds. When the morning sun replaced the starlight, the feeling of him, of that place, would linger like a phantom limb. Elara, an illustrator, found her waking hours consumed by him. She'd sit at her desk, sunlight warming her back, and sketch his face from memory. Her sketchbooks were filled with his likeness, with renderings of the star blossom garden, attempts to capture a world no one else had ever seen. Months turned into a year. The dream became more real than her daily routine. The silence they shared felt more meaningful than any conversation she had while awake. She began to question everything. Was he a figment of a lonely imagination, a perfect man her mind had constructed? Or was he something more? The line between her dream world and her real world was beginning to blur into a soft, watercolor haze. One night in the dream, they did something different. They didn't just wander, they built. Using shimmering, translucent crystals that sang when touched, they constructed a delicate bridge over a river of liquid starlight. They worked in perfect sync, anticipating each other's needs, their hands brushing as they placed the final, glowing piece. The bridge stood as a testament to their unspoken connection, a pathway they had created together. Needing a break from her studio, Elara took her sketchbook to a little corner cafe she'd never visited before. It was a cozy place, smelling of coffee and old books, with warm light that pooled on the wooden tables. She ordered a tea and opened her book to a blank page, but found herself staring out the window, her mind once again drifting back to the man she would meet at 3:07 a.m. The bell above the door chimed, and a new customer walked in, shaking the rain from his coat. Elara glanced up, a casual, disinterested look that froze on her face. Her breath caught in her throat. Her pencil slipped from her fingers and clattered onto the floor. It was him. The kind eyes, the gentle smile, the man from the star blossom garden. He was real, and he was looking right at her. Time seemed to slow down as he walked towards her table, his gaze never leaving hers. He stopped, a look of utter disbelief on his face. He opened his mouth, then closed it, as if searching for words that could possibly explain the impossible. Finally, he spoke, his voice quiet but clear. "I know this is going to sound crazy," he said, "but you're the woman from my dreams." Elara could only nod, tears welling in her eyes. His name was Liam. He explained that every night, at exactly 3:07 a.m., he was pulled into a dream of a beautiful garden with a woman he felt he'd known his entire life. They sat for hours, comparing notes, their voices filled with wonder. The star blossoms, the moonbeam bench, the crystal bridge, every detail matched. It wasn't just her dream, it was their dream. The connection they felt was immediate and profound. It was the familiarity of 1,000 nights spent in silent companionship, now given voice and form in the waking world. There were no awkward first date jitters, no hesitant questions. It felt like picking up a conversation that had been going on for years. They had built the foundation of their relationship before they had ever truly met. They discovered how their shared dream had woven itself into their separate lives. Liam, an architect, pulled out his tablet and showed her a design he was working on, a pedestrian bridge. Its delicate, crystalline structure and graceful arch were unmistakable. It was the bridge from their dream. He confessed it had come to him one morning, a fully formed idea he couldn't explain until now. They never found a logical explanation for their connection. There was no scientific paper or ancient legend that could account for two minds meeting in the same dreamscape every night. And in the end, they decided they didn't need one. The how and why were less important than the simple, miraculous fact that it had happened. Their story wasn't one to be solved, but one to be lived. Their lives, once parallel lines of waking and dreaming, had now converged. The loneliness that had tinged Elara's days was gone, replaced by the warmth of a shared reality. The dream stranger was no longer a phantom from her sketchbook but the man holding her hand. They were two souls who had found each other across the impossible distance of the subconscious, ready to build a new world together, this time in the light of day.